Hey guys, today we're talking about the most important news in the entire world. What is it, Anna?
It is that first picture that was released of the Joker from the Suicide Squad movie, Jared Leto looking all crazy.
Now, we say it's the most important news in the world because the internet went crazy when this went up last Friday. David Ayer, director of Suicide Squad, posted it for the 75th anniversary of the Joker. Everyone has their own opinion. Not all of it's a positive. But before we really get into the details of the photo, Anna, what were your initial reactions?
I gotta say, I actually really liked it the first time I saw it. It reminded me of a lot of things from Joker past, things from the comics, things animated, things just awesome Joker things that I remember.
I thought it was fan art. I didn't believe it was real. I was like, this is too out there, too weird, and these tattoos look really, really stupid. Now, like I said, that's my initial thought. Let's just talk about the picture, okay?
Yeah.
We have a Joker that looks very, very different.
Sure, we have a Joker that's covered in tattoos and things like that. But when I saw all the tattoos, it made me think of something.
What's that?
The fact is that this Joker is supposed to be a Joker that's been around for a long time and been imprisoned for a long time. And so it's like, you know, if this Joker were just coming out, he were just coming out of the woodwork and starting to mess with Gotham right then I'd be like, that's stupid. Why does he look like a big thug? But he's a Joker that, like I said, has been incarcerated for years. So this sort of thug persona, I mean, we already know that they had Jared Leto working out a lot to become a more buff kind of Joker. So this sort of fits with that sort of prison-esque mentality of the Joker.
Yeah, you know, when you told me that, I actually started thinking of it in a different way because you're right, he's not out of the box. If we're going with the idea that Batman is an older Batman that's already retired, then it would make sense the Joker has been in jail for a long time.
Yeah.
And also that's some of the rumors that's why Amanda Waller wants the Joker on Suicide Squad is because he knows about Batman.
Yeah.
First off, we just have to mention the fact that his pose, everything he's doing there is clearly based on this iconic image from The Killing Joke.
Yeah, which is not the first image we've seen of Jared Leto Killing Joke-esque. I mean, that one with the camera straight out of the comic.
Exactly. Let's talk about these tattoos real quick. Okay, so he's got a hand of playing cards on his collarbone with the words all in. He's got obviously ha 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 ha, which looks like some of the ways it's been drawn in the comic book in the past. But there's also that crazy gesture with the skull. That people don't really know what that's about other than, you know, he's a jester who will bring death or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, he is. I mean, doesn't that perfectly describe the Joker? He's a jester that will bring death.
Also, there's the J right under his eye. Now, we were talking about him being in prison for a long time. It's funny. It's almost a take off the prison drop tattoo that people get in prison. But, of course, it's a J because he's all about himself because he's the Joker.
Oh, Mr. J!
Exactly. Also, some of the more exciting ones are the mouths that are written on his arm and his hand. The mouth right here on his arm looks a lot like just sort of the iconic Joker smile. And I love the idea that he basically do this and he's got that Joker smile.
Right?
You were talking about the fact that this was a Joker that's been in jail a long time, right?
Yeah.
And we have the whole metal teeth thing, right?
Yes.
Now, I think that we both came to a conclusion pretty quickly that if they're going with this whole thing where the Joker met up with Batman and he's in jail now, maybe the metal teeth isn't like, ooh, he's Jaws, he's evil. Maybe
it's because Batman punched him a lot, and he probably lost all his front teeth.
Exactly.
Wouldn't hit a guy with glasses.
And also probably why he has this tattoo because like this is what the old him looked like before Batfleck kicked his ass.
Right.
And also that would make sense too because if he's in jail probably for murder, it could be mass murder or maybe it's of course Jason Todd that people are talking about, or if they're going with this Killing Joke theme, maybe he did something to Barbara Gordon. We don't know if Barbara Gordon is in this DC universe or not.
It's true.
So
it also makes sense because Batman, that's what he does.
Yeah.
He punches criminals.
Exactly.
That's how Batman rolls.
Exactly. Also, there is a mouth on his hand. It could just be a different version of the Joker mouth, or some people are saying maybe it's the chattering teeth. That's a big Joker motif. It looks like on his ribs he might have the word smile written on there. It's hard to say. There's only SM. Hey, Maybe it's S&M.
Maybe.
Who knows? And also, I think very interestingly, there is a tattoo on his bicep that looks like feathers. And people are thinking maybe it has to do with like a dead robin or a dead bird. Once again, going with people's hopes of Jason Todd being dead, basically, in this universe.
Because that means eventually he might be able to come back as the Red Hood.
Exactly. That would be a good reason to put the Joker in prison. That would be a good reason for Batman to retire.
Mm-hmm.
He's also got this, like, Thug Life Tupac type tattoo down here, but we don't know what it says. It gets cut off.
I hope it says Batman.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I like to believe it says Harley, but hey, maybe it says... But it'll probably ultimately just say Joker, right?
Maybe.
I mean, that would make sense.
Does make sense.
At the end of the day, he really is all about himself, isn't he? And last but not least, the one tattoo that made me really dislike this image when I initially saw it, because I thought it must be a joke, is Damaged written across his forehead. I thought that was a little on the nose and kind of really stupid, but it's interesting to look at that as sort of a pastiche of Charles Manson or something like that. And you're right. You know, I like the idea that if this Joker's been in jail for a long time and getting these tattoos, I love the idea of him getting caught by Batman with no tattoos, right? He just has his kind of great suit on. And then maybe, you know, they strip him of his look, so he uses ink and tattoos to give him a costume.
Yeah.
You know, because he can't have a costume in prison, which I think is kind of rad, right?
Of course, he is the Joker, so you're right. It could all be a joke. It could all wash right off.
Exactly. But it does look like that his skin is probably bleached in this. And it also looks like, you know, of course he's got the green hair, so it's probably not a makeup application like Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
And also he's got these kind of almost scars or cracks right here on his eye. I like to believe that maybe, remember that image from The Dark Knight Returns when Batman throws a batarang into his eye?
Yeah.
I like to believe maybe that's a scar from that.
Or just from more punching.
Exactly.
So one of the things that we've been seeing on the internet is a lot of sort of hate towards this.
Yes,
you know?
tons.
There's been a lot of people who are like, oh my god, this is so cool. But there has been a lot of hate. And it's been sort of met with, that's not the Joker.
Yes.
This is what the Joker looks like, and then somebody's picture of what they perceive the Joker to look like. Well, you know what? I've got something to say to you guys. Here's the Joker, and here's the Joker, and here's the Joker, and here's the Joker. Look at that! Cesar Romero wouldn't shave his mustache. And here's the Joker, and here's the Joker, and here's the Joker, and the Joker, and the Joker, and the Joker, and I could go on, but I'm not going to.
There's a lot of Jokers, okay? Now, I think what's really interesting is the idea that very rarely in the comic books see him without his suit on. This is like Batman R.I.P., which we saw, you know, he doesn't have all these tattoos, but the idea, I don't think we've ever seen a live-action Joker shirtless.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, this has never happened. Now, part of me wonders if they just did this for, they're like, man, we got Jared Leto, and he's really good looking and fit, but a white torso looks really weird if we have him shirtless. Let's just throw tattoos on him.
I mean, that actually does make sense if it was just the white torso, because again, as we've learned in rumors, Jared Leto's Joker is supposed to be a more buff Joker. He got all buff in prison, sort of reminiscent of what we saw in The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, he's much bulkier in that. I understand why people are upset. I think a few of the things that people have said is he looks like a juggalo. Some people think he looks like Marilyn Manson. Other people just think that he looks like a Joker fan. Not the actual Joker, but some guy who really loves the Joker. But I don't think those are a bad thing. I think the thing is, like, why not have the rock star version of the Joker? I mean, that's part of what makes the Joker so interesting is, in his mind, he's the most fabulous thing in the world, along with Batman, right? Also, they have a real kind of hurdle to get over, which we've talked about in previous shows, and that's Harley Quinn. We need to make a sexual Joker for the first time, really, in the history of live-action Jokers.
That's true.
I mean, you know, the rest of, like, Heath Ledger's Joker, I can't imagine being sexual at all. He was just creepy as hell. And Jack Nicholson was... Anyway, there's never been this before. We got to get a guy that we can believe got busy with Dr. Quinzel, right? And he's got this kind of, like, I don't give an F rock guy look to him, which, you know, is sexy to a lot of women, especially crazy women.
And again, think of it as being more hardcore because of all the time he's spent behind bars.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, he's going to be in a suit most of the time, so the tattoos are relatively irrelevant. Also, we're talking about these tattoos, but let's talk about what little clothing he is wearing in this shot. He's got one purple, what looks like medical glove there. I think this is really interesting because, of course, iconically, he often wears purple gloves. That's part of his character. But also, the medical gloves almost remind me of, like, Batman R.I.P. It's unsettling,
Or
you know?
he's just been giving himself tattoos, and that's his tattoo glove.
He's also got a pinky ring, which is totally boss.
Yeah.
As I said earlier in the show, my initial reaction was not liking this. But the more and more I looked at it, the more I felt like, you know what? They're going for something different. They're going for something that they think is grotesque, that they think is hardcore. I like David Ayer's work. I think he does really interesting stuff, really edgy stuff. Certainly more edgy than a lot of the Marvel directors make.
Yeah.
With the exception of probably James Gunn.
Don't butt! Who do you think you're fooling? I just saw you.
This is just something really radically different. Jared Leto talked about the fact that he didn't want to do what Jack Nicholson did. He didn't want to do what Heath Ledger did. But I like the fact that it is distinct. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and one more thing before we go. What's really interesting to remember is that this picture went out on a Friday on the 75th anniversary of the first sight of the Joker. And frankly, this might be a joke.
It could be.
It might not actually be the real look of the Joker. This could have been one of their tests. Ayer decided to put it out because he thought it would be funny and also to see people's reaction to it.
Yeah.
But guys, what do you think down here? Do you like this new look? And what is your favorite version of the Joker? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to listen to our radio show on every week on Indie 100 and The Point.
And if you want to get in touch with us, you can send us an email to geekworldradio@yahoo.com and be sure to check out our website, geekworldradio.com.